Speak to these people, but it will not enter their hearts, because their hearts have turned upside down and it just bounces off. And we know that the society that we're living in overwhelms us, and unfortunately this healthy heart becomes something, it sort of begins to have some sickness in it, and it becomes a norm for him. This sickness becomes normal to him. So when the kufr prevails, because we're living in ayyam al-kufr, ayyam al-jahiliyyah, the days of kufr and days of ignorance, it has an effect on the heart. And slowly, slowly, this heart, this kufr begins to prevail, and it begins to set his purpose in life. It begins to set his aim in life. So slowly, slowly, this illness begins to take him over, and it begins to sort of mold his actions towards kufr and towards disbelief. Unfortunately also, those people who have been affected by this sickness, they tend to justify their acts. Now this is one of the biggest evils, one of the biggest haram is to justify your haram. They begin to twist and turn Islamic evidences and start justifying things which are haram. Some of them even choose lesser of the two evils when they don't understand the principle. SubhanAllah, they use the lesser of the two evils to justify many things. Many simple things, everyday life. This is better for me, so therefore I should do this. Not knowing the Islamic opinion upon the issue. And they start justifying things. And this is exactly what the shaitan did. This is exactly what Iblis did. He justified his position in front of Allah Azza wa Jal, where he said, you created me from fire and you created Adam alayhi salam. You created Adam from clay. So he justified himself. He justified his haram, why he shouldn't bow to Adam alayhi salam. He justified it. And this is what unfortunately many Muslim youth are doing now, because they've been affected by the society. They've been affected by the kufr ideas in society, that have been prevailing over them. They tend to justify their acts. And the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith which is sahih, he said, "Inna halal bayyin wa haram bayyin." He said that the halal is clear and the haram is clear. Baynahuma umurun mushtabihat. In between them are doubtful affairs. La ya'lamuna kathira min al-nas. The majority of mankind do not know these. So the halal is clear from al-Islam. The haram is clear from al-Islam. It has already been defined by Allah Azza wa Jal. So there is no excuse in saying that I don't know whether this is halal or not. Or I don't know whether this is haram or not. Or because my friends are doing it, therefore it's allowed. SubhanAllah, it is laid out perfectly. And there are, as with everything in al-Islam, as with everything in life, there's consequences if you don't do it. There's consequences if you don't obey what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us, has defined for us to do. There's consequences. And one of the consequences we know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, at least 3 times in the Quran, He says, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. Every single soul shall taste death. وَنَبْلُكُمْ بِخَيْرِ وَشَرِّ فِتْنَةً وَإِلَيْنَا تُرْجَعُونَ. He says, every single soul shall taste death. This is the consequence. Every single soul shall taste death, and we will test you with al-khair, we will test you with the shar, with the good and the evil, and to us you shall return. To us you shall return. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, these are the consequences, that you will die one day. You will die. And do we want to die with this sickness in our heart? Do you want to die, performing actions, that are disbelief, that are contrary to Islam? Do you want to perform this? We know the halal, we know the haram, but yet we still do it. Why is this the case? And look at some of the, subhanAllah, some of the descriptions which have been given by the Prophet ﷺ for that person who dies with a deaf heart, with a dead heart. What kind of death is this person going to face? The Prophet ﷺ said, related by Tamim Dari radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, for the disbeliever, or the one with a dead heart, he said, the angel of death, lahu ithnat ashrata ayn, he will have 12 eyes. He will approach this person with 12 eyes. Ma'ahu khamsumi'a min al-malaika. With him, there will be 500 angels or so that all have black faces that approach him. Ma'ahu nuhasun jamrun min jamri jahannam wa ma'ahu siyatun min nar. And these angels will approach him with fires and copper and embers from the fire of Jahannam. And they will pick it up and they will drop it in front of them, and they will pick up coal in front of them and drop it again, and they'll have whips that are made out of fire. This is how we approach someone who has a dead heart. Someone whose heart is shriveled. Someone who disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a kind of image that the angel of death will have. with his angels in front of him. And there was once a narration with Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam once said that he met the angel of death. He met the angel of death and he asked him, Arina kayfa taqbi ruh al-mu'min. Show me the form that you take, show me the form that you change into when you take out the soul of a mu'min, of a believer. Show me the form that you take, because I heard that you change form. Show me the form. So he said to him, Isrik wajhaka, and turn your face away from me and let me change my form. So then Azrail alayhi salam, the angel of death, changes form in front of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He changes his form. And Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam turns around. What does he see? He sees the most beautiful figure that he has ever seen in his entire life. The most beautiful figure, the musk and the scent is coming off his body. And he said that if I was deprived of everything, of all the goodness in this dunya, just by seeing you in this form, oh Azrail alayhi salam, is sufficient for me. Just by seeing you in this great form. That's the death of a healthy heart. Now subhanAllah, look at the opposite. Ibrahim alayhi salam asked him again, the second question, Arini kayfa taqbi ruh al-kafir. Show me the form you take when you take out the soul, the ruh of a disbeliever, or someone with a dead heart. Show me the form that you take. Then he said to him, La tusiku dhalik. You will not be able to bear me. You will not be able to bear that. You will not be able to bear my form if I change. But again, curious as Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam was, he asked him again, Arini, show me the form. So he said, Isrik wajhaka an. Turn your face away from me and let me change my form. So then Azrail alayhi salam changed his form. And what did Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam see when he turned around? رِجْلَاهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَرَأْسَهُ فِي السَّمَاءِ. He said that both his feet and his legs are on the earth and his face is in the heavens. This is how big he is when he approaches that person, that disbeliever with a dead heart. This is how big he is. And the narration continues to say that he has fire coming out of his eyes. He has fire coming out of his mouth and his ears. And furthermore, he'll have hairs as human beings on his body. Human beings as hairs on his body. And each one of these human beings that are hairs on his body, fire will be coming out of their eyes, their nose, their mouth and their ears. Such is, the effect of the angel of death in front of such a person who has a dead heart. Someone who disbelieves in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this person with a dead heart, he begins to affect other people. And this is a danger, also turning their hearts into a dead one. The disease begins to spread. The disease begins to spread onto other people. The issue of concern is us as Muslim youth in this society. Are we doing what we can to purify ourselves? Are we doing what we can? Do we know the consequences if we don't purify ourselves? Purify our nafs, our desires. We know what is halal, we know what is haram. But why is it that we're not purifying ourselves? This should be on the forefront of our minds. That we're going to meet Allah Azza wa Jal at one point. And we do not want to meet Him with a dead heart or some sickness in our heart. Because as the ulama have defined, as Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya rahimahullah has defined, that this sickness in the heart slowly can make it turn into a dead heart, just like the disbeliever. Issues of pride sneak in to the heart and it begins to fight. The nafs begins to fight. The spiritual connection between Allah Azza wa Jal and yourself is destroyed, is severed. Whereas a healthy heart realizes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists in every single action he does. He does dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove these stains from his heart. And the connection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us is that every action that we do, we must see the hukum of Allah upon the issue. We must see the opinion of Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam upon this issue. We have to see it. Because we know issues, the Prophet said, Man amila amalan laysa alayhi amruna fahuwa rad. Whoever does actions without the approval of our commands, i.e. the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then it will be rejected. It will be rejected. And we need to know what actions we do in the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we must align our actions and our speech, our souls, our desires, our whims, our lusts. Every single action that we do, every single thought, inshallah, that we can think of should be in line with the Quran and the Sunnah and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has defined. Such is a healthy heart. And this is what we should be striving towards, inshallah. But there are many people, unfortunately, who say, I am just avoiding the haram. I'm avoiding the haram, and therefore